Hi Reshma, how are you?
Hi, Kadi. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me here in your house. It was a long flight, but it was so worth it.
I hope so, and I hope you feel better also later.
Thank you. So, can you tell us a bit about your background, please?
Sure. I actually grew up in India, and I spent 23 years of my life there. I did a bachelor's in architecture. Then I came to the US because I wanted to explore new horizons. Came here for my master's, which I went to Harvard University, and then I got married here, which was about 22 years ago. And then I moved professions a little bit. I tried various things. For example, I started my own company in landscape architecture. I started a dance school of my own,
Oh,
and then I also pursued town politics. I was the cultural commissioner of my town back in the Boston area. I was exploring all of this when my kids were very young, so I wanted to try out my hobbies. But then, after the kids became school going age, I came back to my first love, my career, and so now I'm actually running programs in smart green buildings.
okay, and you also wrote a book related to that?
That's right, yeah. So this is actually a book called Building Innovation, which is basically a technical book which talks about how you can build innovation in your society, especially in the terms of green buildings, sustainable buildings, and smart buildings, as it leads to innovation in society.
So, why do you care that much about this specific topic?
Sure. So I think this is a very important topic. As you know, that the whole planet is undergoing climate change right now, and especially cities are experiencing huge growth, right? So you won't see one city by itself anymore. You always see like a string of cities coming together, and I think 80% of the GDP is going to increase in cities, but also the amount of emission which is coming from cities is actually 3 or 4 times more. And because of the increase in urbanization, the heat in cities is changing. So they're becoming hot, they're becoming polluted, they're becoming uncomfortable. And as this pollution is increasing, the number of people coming in is increasing. So it's creating a little bit of a tension. So as new construction, new buildings are being built, we have to be very careful to make sure that these buildings are green and sustainable. So they don't add to the planetary impact in a bad way, but you're creating comfortable, economically friendly environments for people to work in, to live in, to play in, and yet make them in such a way that they can be cities and buildings of the future. So I think there's a whole lot of temperament change required around attitudes for building and green buildings.
And so, it's nice that you care about the environment, and I know that you care about other stuff. For example, women empowerment and women, you like to encourage women to like step up and like create opportunities for themselves and for other people.
Right.
So this is why you're with Tech Women right now. Can you please
That's
tell
right.
us a bit about Tech Women?
Yeah, sure. So actually, Tech Women actually very beautifully fuses in my love for the environment and what we're doing with the environment with what we're doing for women. So Tech Women is a program started by the US government about 7 years ago, and it has grown. It started with 6 countries in Middle East, North Africa, and now it's 20 countries. About 3,000 women from 20 countries apply for becoming Tech Women Emerging Leaders, and only 100 are selected. So it's a very
Wow.
competitive
Yeah.
program, but these women are absolutely amazing in every sense of the way. So if you're interested, I would suggest definitely apply to Tech Women because it's a life transforming experience. These ladies are brought into the Silicon Valley for a period of about 5 weeks in the month of October, and they are mentored by Silicon Valley women leaders to show them how we do things here. Not so much to teach them, okay, this is how things should be done, but to expose them to how different ways, different business models work, how we interact with men shoulder to shoulder, not like one step behind, but really out there, and to show them that as women, you have so many ways of having that emotional intelligence that you can actually make big change in the world. And the environment is a very important aspect of it because across the world we're seeing issues with energy. Wars are fought on energy, wars are fought on water, wars are fought because of resources. And if we don't protect our environmental resources, and if we don't get the right women in the leadership positions to actually create that change, we have lost the planet. So I think tech women and environment and green buildings to me comes together in such a way that I don't see any difference between them at all. They're like one focus for me.
I'm pretty sure that you have motivated people, whether at your job, in tech women, or in any other situation that you are in. You are very motivational, and you keep on like spreading positivity and like empowering women all around. So, what is the thing that motivates you?
So I think what motivates me is this thing. I live by this rule, which comes from my religion. It basically says Sarbat da Bhala, which means good for all. So not good for me, but good for all. And how do I do it? It's by making my ego low and my accomplishments high. So I find this is another difference between, I think, men and women, is that women, the ego tends to be lower. The accomplishments are very high, but women don't talk about it. But I think when you actually think about the full spectrum of what a woman does in the house, with her family, with her kids, at work, motivating her employees, motivating the people she's working in, that's where her ego really goes down, where accomplishments start going up. So I think that's something that I believe in a lot, is to keep my ego low and my accomplishments high. So I feel that's a good way of spreading positivity, because you're not just talking about yourself, but you really want everybody else to bring their best to their collaborative platform. So that's what motivates me, is how do I give back? How do I actually make somebody else do better and better, rather than just kind of focusing on myself?
So it's really hard for everyone, usually for young girls or for young people in general, to find their motivation. Like we keep looking and looking and like fighting with each other and trying to figure out what is the thing that is keeping us going.
Right.
But we never. It's hard. Like how are you able to find that thing?
So I think you can start at any time with anything. So it doesn't have to be, this is my passion of my life. Even if you find small passions, if you find small interests, start using it as a way of honing your skills, of developing your personality, of developing an attitude towards doing something about it, right? So you will realize that the more you start going down a certain journey, things will conspire to form it for you. So as long as you start on the journey and you keep at it, somehow the universe will conspire and things will come together. So don't think that, oh my god, I don't want to pursue music because I can't earn money in it. Or maybe I don't want to pursue STEM because it's too difficult. That's not the way to do it. If you have interest in something, start small, baby steps. Once you start the baby steps, you reach somewhere. That's how I got here. That's how a lot of people get there. Nobody has a whole journey charted out when they begin. So the motivation starts by developing the small bits of confidence, finishing that and saying, okay, I've done that. Now I can pile on top of it. Then I can, pile on top of it. I can really achieve my goal and really get a crystal clear image of what I'm going towards. So start with small goals, small accomplishments, and small baby steps to build your confidence. That's why I would say should be a motivation.
So you're saying that there is no specific path that any person can take for them to be successful.
One can plan, but I think destiny is always going to plan for you. And as long as you're ethical about what you're doing, you know what is right, what is wrong. As long as your conscience is clear, and as long as you know that you're going in the right direction, that's what should be your motivation. That's what should be your goal. It's always good to have goals, small or big. And I'm saying that if you already have your big plan in mind, more power to you. But most of us don't. And we go like this, right? Not everybody has that path, right? It's very few, that 0.1%. But even if you're going like this, you are discovering so much along your journey. It's only making it more enriched and more beautiful. You still have miles to go before you sleep and miles to go before you sleep. But you'll get there, you'll achieve your goal, ultimately.
What would you like to advise young girls or women in any age that are just now watching your video?
So I think that for young girls and women, it's very important for you to realize that it is not up to us to be ahead or behind the men. We have to work as partners. Men bring a lot, women bring a lot. We're not here to be anti-men. On the other hand, we're not here to belong to the boys' club either. We bring so much to the table, and we want our men to realize that. But we should also realize that our men bring a lot to the table.
Exactly.
So walk hand in hand, walk shoulder to shoulder, focus on your strengths, develop your skills in such a way that you feel so confident and so secure in them. Don't have insecurities. At every age, you will feel bound that, oh, I should have been by this now, I should have been a mother at this age, I should have reached this leadership position. But don't be bound by these insecurities. Just go for it. And believe me, every little step is going to get you in the right direction to get there. So seize the opportunity, seize whatever you can find, have a ton of fun with it. If you're not having fun, you were not meant to do it. I had so much fun. It took me 5 years to write this book, but every time I wrote a page, I was like, this is how I want to express myself. Every time I went to a building and I went to the basement and looked at the air conditioning system, I looked at the wall and looked at the colors, and when I looked at the roof and I saw the different tiles, I was like, I want to learn more. So it was all about, I'm curious, I want to develop, I want to learn, I want to kind of really grasp this with my whole heart, right? So I went for it, mind, body, and spirit. Everything you do, you should put your mind, body, and spirit into it, 200%. That's the way to do it. Live life
You will succeed.
king size and enjoy it, and everything else is going to follow. But if you're not enjoying it, move on. Remember that you should know when to cut your losses and move on also.
So yeah, we sometimes have this problem that we don't know when to say no, and we don't know when to stop what we're doing.
That's right.
This is something that I think we need to learn with experience.
Because yes, women don't know how to say no a lot of times, and for girls to be able to realize that this is not appealing to my heart, and that's where I think intuition is really important, right? You will know when something connects with you and something doesn't connect. If it doesn't connect, it's okay to say no and move on. There'll be other opportunities, there'll be other ways of finding your path in your journey, so go for it and embrace it.
So before we end this, I want to ask you something. So in addition to what we're doing, so what we're doing now is we're interviewing inspirational women for them to share their experiences, give their advice. And next step would be is to form like a community online where girls from all around the world can reach out to successful women the same way I reached out to you, through the connection of someone, which is us in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they can ask you for your advice about something. Maybe they're lost, they don't know where to go to college, or they don't know what to do. So are you willing to just help us give advices to these girls that are going to be inspired by your video, and in a very organized way help them succeed?
Of course, anything that we can do as a community to actually help all the girls rise, right? So I think we want to be the tide that raises all boats. And when I meet strong women like you from Lebanon, and when I meet people who are really kind of setting their paths and they're trying to understand how to reach those goals, I am so empowered myself that I feel like if I can give a little bit back, I would be more than happy to do that. And I think that the younger generation has a very strong head on their shoulders right now. We have messed up the earth in ways that we should not have, but I think the younger generation is finding ways to really change that. And I think there's a lot we can learn. Our generation can learn a lot from you girls too. So there's something that you have in your platform which allows young girls to also provide inspiration to us. I would love to hear about that. I think that bilateral kind of learning is going to be really important.
And here
forward.
comes what you were saying, that you achieve a lot and you have very low ego. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure,
it
Nadi.
was great having this interview.
It was great to be here, and I hope even if I have an iota of anything that I've done in the world, if I can help anybody else, I'd be more than happy to do that.
And you really need your help and the help of people like you, so that we can help everyone to succeed and maybe get to a point where they're walking on the right path.
We need to help girls to be stronger. We need to help our boys
Exactly.
to appreciate our girls and be stronger for them and for themselves. So I think when I bring up my boy and my girl, I treat them equally. When the kids were young, I used to give my daughter trucks and I used to give my son dolls. And today, like if my son picks up the plates from the table, it's because he knows that this is an equal household. So I would really love for households around the world to do that. So our men and women grow up to be
Equal.
equal and supportive of each other and not looking down on each other. I think it's a big problem now, and let's change that.
Let's change it, and we will.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.